Hi, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. I'm feeling better and I am ready to start uploading some more smaller ideas that you can use for stocking stuffers or to give to that special person, a coworker, whatever. And so today I'm going to show you how to turn these very plain magnetic whiteboard erasers, they have a felt bottom, into a beautiful rhinestone gift idea. So I got these erasers on Amazon. They have a plastic top and they're magnetic and they have the felt bottom. I was specifically looking for erasers that had the felt bottom because those are the ones that work the best for me on my whiteboard. And I love the idea. A lot of people are making those erasers. They're actually chalkboard erasers and they have a wooden top, and I really love the appearance of those. But I wanted these to be really easy to wash, sort of take apart and wash the plastic part without worrying about soaking the wood. I don't know if that's kind of a silly thought or not, but that was the thought in my head. And so I was looking for something that had a sturdy plastic top. Now here I'm showing the full view of my messy desk so that you can see that eraser on top that I already did. That was my very first experimental eraser. I love the rhinestones on it. These rhinestone mixes are both from Flynn Sisters supply shop. They are her FS exclusive mixes. I'm going to be using a green one that's called Gatsby, and this rose gold mix is called Flynnspired. So this one I'm making for my coworker who loves all things rose gold and pink, and it is her birthday coming up this month, so I made a special eraser for her, the one that has a letter G, and then I'm making the green one for me because my favorite color is green. So on the eraser that you can see at the top of my desk, I had the idea to use light colored stones first for the letter and then put the mix all around, but what happened is the letter did not stand out like I had hoped, and so it's beautiful. It's a beautiful eraser. I might just give her both of them, but it didn't match the idea I had in my head. I really wanted that letter G to stand out. So for the second eraser, I used the darkest vinyl I had, which is black, and then I used the dark colored stones, the darkest stones in the mix. I put those all around the letter G. And then the wider areas around the letter G, I filled all those in with all the other stones. So this one turned out perfect. It's super pretty. The G stands out. Everything is really sparkly, and I love the idea of having that contrast between the letter or the initial and the rest of the eraser. So what I did at the beginning of the video is you saw me with a sanding block. I gently sanded the white area of that plastic top, and then I spritzed it down with a paper towel covered in rubbing alcohol. Then I applied my permanent vinyl, pressed it down really good because you can see a little indentation of the logo, eraser logo they have there. So after I applied the permanent vinyl, since it's a shiny vinyl, I also sanded the vinyl very gently and then rubbed it down with the rubbing alcohol again, and then started using my liquid fusion to apply the larger stones in the larger areas of the letter, and then filling in those smaller sections, those little gaps, with the smaller stones. I continued this process all the way around the letter. I did the same thing with mine too. I'll show you that one toward the end. And then let that liquid fusion sort of set up and dry a little bit before I started shuffling those lighter colored stones in and around the stones that have already been placed. Once those stones are set enough for me to start working around without bumping them all over the place, I am starting at a corner and I'm using a mix of large and small stones just to outline that rounded corner. And then I'm going to start working my way inward toward the letter G, going all the way around the edges, and the same thing for every single corner. So this project took, this eraser, oh man, it did not take that long to apply these stones. I didn't calculate my hours, but I'm guessing it probably took a total of maybe 2.5 hours to sand, apply the vinyl, and apply the stones. The longest part was probably figuring out what size letter G I wanted to apply over the top of it and messing with that very first eraser to see the combination of stones that I wanted to use to make that contrast between the letter G and the white base of the erasers. I am going to clip out the rest of this video until I get toward the end because it's just the same thing all the way around. I'm just filling in the gaps with the stones that fit, mixing colors and sizes as I work around. All right, and final stretch here at the corner. So this is probably the trickiest part to fill in those little gaps because you only have just a little teeny space to work with, and I didn't want to trap myself too much in an area that I couldn't fit any stones in. So normally I would start right at the corner, but I wanted to be able to push my stones forward toward the letter G. So I kind of placed them around the letter G first and finished off coming out toward the end because I knew I had some smaller filler pieces that I could push around and maneuver into that little corner. And then this one is finished and I just let it sit for 24 hours. I'm using a paper towel spritzed with rubbing alcohol to gently wipe around the outer edge without bumping those stones on top, just to get rid of any of that excess glue residue that may have fallen over or touched with your fingers. And you just clean it up. And that letter, you can see the letter on the side of that one. The side that has the letter is the magnetic portion of this eraser, so that is the only side that sticks to the whiteboard. Okay, now I'm on to the eraser that I'm making for myself. So same thing, I sanded the white base first, spritzed it with rubbing alcohol, applied the black permanent vinyl, sanded that down a little bit, spritzed it with rubbing alcohol, and then I am starting with the darker stones of this bunch. So this is the Gatsby, and that little tray of stones sitting next to me, that is a crystal mix from Be Createful. And I didn't use very many of those stones, but those stones were the perfect blend to fill in any gaps, any smaller areas that I had left to be filled. And so that's why I have those sitting next to me. So that's a perfect mix from Be Createful. I have linked to both of these in the description box below in case you would like to go purchase these stones. I have sped toward the end of this process on this particular eraser because you already saw how I separated the darker stones for the other one and then put the lighter mix around the edge. So I'm just doing that exact same thing with this mix of stones, and you can see the combination on the letter D. It has the blacks and the really dark green emerald stones, and then around the edge I have the bronzy colored gold stones, the lighter color green. There's all the lighter mixes all around the edge. So exact same process. I'm going to clean up the edges just like I did, and then I'm going to show you how I pop these off and wash them. Okay, well, my phone told me my storage was full and it stopped recording as I was washing with soap and water. But what I did, what I showed that did not get recorded, is I just popped off the tops of these erasers, and then I had a little bowl of soapy water sitting on my table. And then I very carefully used a toothbrush to gently wash the tops of these erasers to get rid of any residue and to bring out that shine. And then you dry it off really good and pop them right back together. It is the simplest project, super easy to clean. I'm really happy with how these turned out. I hope you love this idea. Please leave any questions and comments below, and thank you so much for watching.